Learning to drive a stick shift, it's not just about getting from A to B. It's something more. It's about really feeling the road, having this incredible connection to your car. And honestly, it's about a whole new kind of freedom. It puts you in the driver's seat, literally.
So, are you ready to grab that wheel and really take control? If you are, you're in exactly the right spot. Let's get this journey started.
All right, let's jump right in. Here's the game plan. We're going to start with setting up your command center. Then we'll get into the essential controls, nail down that first movement, and start mastering the gears. After that, we'll tackle judging your space, and finally, look at the road ahead. We're going to break this down step by step.
Okay, first things first, before you even turn that key, you've got to get comfortable. Think of it like this. The car needs to become an extension of you. Getting your setup right isn't just a suggestion, it's everything. So slide that seat forward or back until you can push the clutch pedal all the way down to the floor without having to stretch your leg out. Once you've got that, it's time for the mirrors. Now here's a great pro tip. When you're adjusting your side mirrors, you want to be able to see just a tiny sliver of your own car in them. Why? Because that little sliver acts as a landmark. It tells your brain exactly where your car is in relation to everything else out there. All right, let's talk about your main tools of communication. Because driving a stick shift really is a conversation between you and the car, and that conversation happens with your feet on 3 pedals and your hand on the gear shifter.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the pedal on the far left, the clutch. The best way to think about it is like an on-off switch for the engine's power to the wheels. When you push it all the way down, you're disconnecting the engine. That's the magic that lets you change gears without making a horrible, crunchy sound. So here's the #1 rule. Always push that clutch in fully and smoothly every single time you change gears.
The middle pedal, the brake, that one's pretty self-explanatory, right? But the secret here is to be smooth. You don't want to stomp on it. Just apply nice, even pressure. Here's a good way to think about it. Imagine there's a full cup of hot coffee sitting on your dashboard. Your goal is to brake without spilling a single drop. And then all the way on the right, you've got the accelerator, or the gas pedal. And trust me, this one is sensitive. When you're just starting, you barely need to touch it. Just a light, gentle press is all it takes to get things going. Okay, you're set up, you know the pedals. Now, it's time for the good part. The moment we've all been waiting for, making the car actually move. Okay, let's walk through this together. First, push the clutch all the way to the floor. Then, shift the gear stick into first gear. Now, this next part is the key. It's a little bit of a dance. You're going to slowly, and I mean super slowly, let the clutch pedal come up. You're going to feel a point where the car starts to vibrate just a little. That's called the bite point. That's your signal. Right when you feel that, start to give it just a tiny bit of gas as you keep letting the clutch out, and boom, you're moving. Now, getting going is half the battle. Stopping smoothly is the other half. And the order you do things in is super important. The first thing you do is push the clutch all the way in. Then you gently press the brake. Pushing that clutch in first is what keeps the engine from stalling out on you. Once you're at a complete stop, just pop the gear shifter back into neutral. Easy. All right, you can start, you can stop. That's a huge milestone. So now, let's get into the real rhythm of driving a manual, changing gears while the car is already moving. It really comes down to 2 things, upshifting and downshifting. Upshifting is pretty simple. As you get faster, you shift into a higher gear, like from first to second, then second to third. This lets the engine work less hard. Downshifting is the opposite. When you slow down, you shift into a lower gear to match your new speed and stay in control. So, when do you actually shift? Well, this chart is a fantastic cheat sheet to get you started. It gives you some typical speed ranges for each gear. For instance, you'll usually shift into second somewhere around 10 to 25 kilometers per hour. But listen, every car is a little different, so think of this as a helpful guide, not a strict, unchangeable rule. But honestly, the best way to know when to shift is to use your ears. Forget about the speedometer for a minute. Just listen to your engine. It will absolutely talk to you. When you hear it starting to work really hard, when it sounds kind of tight or whiny, that's the car telling you, hey, it's time to shift up. So you can move, stop, and shift gears. Awesome. But now for what can be the biggest challenge for new drivers, knowing exactly where your car is on the road. Like, how close are you to the lines? It feels tricky, but I promise there's a really cool, simple trick to get it right. And here it is. This is the secret. It doesn't matter what you're driving, a little sports car, a big SUV, the rule is the same for all of them. You basically learn to use your windshield like a heads-up display, a targeting system for placing your car exactly where you want it. Okay, check this out. For your left side, imagine a line down the middle of the left half of your windshield. If you line that point up with the line on the road, guess what? Your left tires are right on top of it. For the right side, a great reference point is the corner of your car's hood. And for the front, here's the golden rule. If you can't see the tires of the car in front of you touching the road, you are way too close. Back off a bit.
Wow, we've actually covered a ton of ground, haven't we? We've gone from setting up your seat mirrors to the controls getting moving, shifting gears, and even knowing where you are on the road. You officially have all the core pieces of the puzzle.
But here's the real key, and it's the most important takeaway of all. Mastery doesn't happen overnight. It comes from practice. So find a nice, big, empty parking lot somewhere. Just go through these motions over and over. Get a feel for that clutch, listen to what the engine is telling you. That's how this all goes from being something you think about to something you just do. So there you have it. You've got the knowledge, you've got the skills. The open road is officially waiting for you. The only question left is, where will you go first?